welcome to Fanfic Friday. We are here once again for me to suffer. A little later in the day than normal because I've had house cleaning, people coming to town to visit, so I had to get ready to clean up a little bit. But we're here now to continue the horrible romance I wrote in middle school about Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. Hello, Lobsoul, Sagittarius, Siegfried. I think I said that right. This week will challenge us. It will challenge us all. It challenged me. I had a little bit of a breakdown while preparing this week. Hello, Jeff. It's bad. It's bad, y'all. Oh god, it's so bad. Thank you all for joining us. I guess we'll get started. Last time we stopped with the characters on their strange metaphysical road trip through Georgia. They stopped at a mechanic's because their van was injured. Their van was damaged. And they had to get somebody to fix it. And it was revealed that the characters at the mechanic were just characters from Kingdom Hearts for no reason. Just they were. Just them there. So that's where we are. I guess I should stop postponing this, even though oh god. This is gonna be so bad. Anyway. Hello, Elfin. Welcome. Alright, I guess I'm gonna have to start reading now. We are on Chapter 13, The Sea Salt Mechanics. And as always, I have a random frickin' quote to start the story off because I thought I was very profound. 3 grand essentials to happiness in this life are something to do, something to love, and something to hope for. Which is why I'm not happy right now, because I don't have any hope while reading this. Hi, Alexis. Oh, God. Alright. Hello, I called into the emptiness of the looming dark garage. Hello! Behind me, the others stepped in. The garage was a wreck, very well lived in. Kadaj knocked over a half-empty soda can when he walked in. Spider webs attached themselves to Loz's head, and he grumbled as he attempted to remove them. Crystal's hand drifted over the car in the garage. "Does anyone still live here?" she whispered. Kadaj lifted the empty can. "This is fresh," he told them. I continued looking around. "Hello, anyone?" "Hey, Cygnus, welcome to hell." Attached to the ceiling was a hammock, ratty and covered in blankets. Oh, man. One blanket was covered in rainbows, the other blue and quilted. It was like someone had raided a child's bedroom, like a weird floating hamper. Then I heard a snore. Is there someone sleeping up there? Kadaj wondered. He was thinking along the same lines I was. Sephiroth groaned and unsheathed Masamune. It was more than long enough to reach up to the hammock on the ceiling. Jabbing the bundle with the hilt of the blade, Sephiroth called up to it. "Sir, we are customers. Is the garage open?" The sign on the door said it was, but the entire building seemed vacant. The bundle grumbled, moving a little. Frowning, I looked to Sephiroth. He huffed and jabbed the bundle a little more insistently. Behind us, a sleepy Loz and cranky Crystal walked up. Seeing our problem and finding a chance to be irritating, Crystal seized Masamune, flipped it around, and jabbed the bundle with the sharp end. Whoever it was in the bundle gave a sharp howl, flipping around in his bundle of blankets before crashing down to the cement below. I cringed and turned to glare at Crystal. As soon as I did, my eyes went wide. A major change had occurred with Sephiroth. Almost as soon as the blade was snatched from his gloved fingers, he gave an animalistic growl. He looked ready to kill as soon as he stole the sword back. I stepped up to interfere, but didn't need to do so. Loz was already standing between his big brother and my best friend. Sighing deeply, I shook my head. That's the proper response to your fiancé almost murdering someone. Snatching the sword from Crystal, I handed it to Sephiroth and gave him a look. Then, forsaking the 3, I turned around and headed towards the moaning bundle of blankets across the way. "You okay?" Pulling the blankets back, I saw the mechanic's fall had been, well, blanketed by the comforters he used. A blonde-haired, lanky boy with a mullet. Once he'd regained his senses, he stood, still a little woozy. "Oh, I'm fine," he insisted, shaking it off. "Really, I've got a hard head. It'll take a lot more than a fall to break this nut." For emphasis, he knocked on his head twice. I giggled. He was a cute kid. When I laughed, the boy smiled, and he gave me that look. What look? "Hey, Pablo." Miss, what's your name?" Before I could respond, I felt a sudden chill in the room, a looming presence over my shoulder. Turning around, I saw Sephiroth was jealous. What is even happening? I don't even... In the back corner of the garage, Kadaj opened the empty metal trash can... No! In the back corner of the garage, Kadaj opened the empty metal trash can next to him, stepped into it, and began lowering himself in, placing the lid on his head. Jamie looked at him, blinking in confusion. "What are you doing?" "Preparing for the end," he muttered darkly. Middle school humor. Oh boy. Oh my lord. "What are you doing?" Sephiroth muttered insistently, leering at the boy over my shoulder. "I was helping him up. Miss Sword Happy over there sent him falling onto the cement a minute ago." I crossed my arms and glared at Crystal. "He's hitting on you," Sephiroth growled. "I know, he's a kid." I shook my head. Literally all the guy said, I almost said his name. All the guy said was, "What's your name?" and gave a look. Apparently this is being hit on. Anyway. "He's just a sweet kid. He's no harm." "You should tell him you're not interested," Sephiroth demanded like it was an order. I gave him that wide-eyed, "oh no you didn't" look. "He'll get the picture," I told Sephiroth just as insistently as he'd ordered me. Sephiroth glowered at me. I stuck my tongue out at him, and he caught it. "How dare you?" I spat thickly with him holding my tongue. It was hard to talk that way. A voice in the back of my head whispered, Oh, Jesus. A voice in the back of my head whispered to me. I knew it was Sephiroth, taking advantage of the connection we shared. "There are better uses for that tongue," he told me. A collage of images bombarded me, things I'd dreamt of. Dirty things that only a husband and wife share. I don't know why we've suddenly gotten so obsessed with the ideas of marriage, but anyway. My knees buckled. Sephiroth let go of my tongue, and I looked away, kept my cool. He wanted me to lose control, but I wouldn't. Before I could smack him, a hand came between Sephiroth and me. Excuse me," the boy from earlier shyly and politely looked to us. "I think you said you need a mechanic?" The kid was smooth, standing up for me while dealing with the wrath of the... wrath of the badass. I could have taken Sephiroth on. Oh, Jesus. Then again, if we fought, it would only end up making him, you know. Oh my god. One thing I'd learned about Sephiroth was he thought attitude was hot. Sephiroth calmed himself, looking back to the van. He and the boy began talking about the machine's problems, walking away, and I made to disappear towards Jamie and Kadaj. Jamie knocked on the lid of the trash can. "Apocalypse over," he said. God, oh, I'm telling you, this week is a trial we will all share. Miss, I was lying on top of the van thinking when I heard the mechanic's voice hit my ears. He was under the van. Crawling to the edge of the roof, I looked over to see him looking up at me. About my earlier question, I still don't know your name." I smiled. He was cute. "I'm Sam." "Oh, okay. Yours?" Yeah, that's not how you usually respond. "My what?" Laughing, I shook my head at the dork. "Your name." He flushed with embarrassment. "Oh, yeah, my name's Dime." What a peculiar name, I thought. My stomach rumbled. Clutching it, I grumbled under my breath. All the food Brian, Aaron, and Jack had given us was eaten up. How? It's been 1 day! Are you hungry? D-May asked, about to slide back under the van. Go down that hall into the house. The first room is the kitchen. Thanking him, I got off the roof. Thank you, D-May. You're sweet. The boy's eyes became very wide, and his blush profound as he watched me walk away. I was glad I could make the boy happy, but I regretted it when I had to walk past Sephiroth into the kitchen. You're encouraging him. I'm being nice, I retorted. Slamming the door behind me, I left all thoughts of Sephiroth and his stick-up-the-butt attitude behind me. It was time for some food. Jesus pleases. Hello, Silent Pain. Welcome to hell. We have another quote, because of course we do. I actually love this quote. I recognized it. Let's live today, let's live tomorrow, and let's live the day after that, even if it means living in eternal pain. Vash the Stampede from Trigun. Ugh. I love Trigun. So good. But once again, incredibly goofy off-tone quotes that have nothing to do with what's going on. Hey, handsome wretch. A piece of cold pizza was what I decided to eat. D-May's fridge was full of takeout food. It was quiet in the house, but nice and clean. It was large, so I supposed D-May didn't live alone. But why live in the garage when the house is so big? I felt eyes on me. I didn't think it was Sephiroth since he was outside. Turning around, I was surprised to see a young girl. She was maybe 14, dressed in a large white shirt and shorts which were covered in paint. Oh, hello, she smiled, her eyes bright. Are you a customer? My name's Namine. I'm Sam, I told her, lifting my hand to shake hers. She looked down to her palms. You probably don't want to shake hands with me. I'm covered in paint. Laughing, she wiped her hands off her shirt. I moved aside so she could reach the sink. Hey, Phil? So you're an artist? She nodded and began cleaning her hands. Okay, she did introduce herself. I was a little confused for a second. Guess it's kind of obvious, huh? Laughing, Namine dried her hands off and moved away from the counter. Want to see some of my work? I heartily agreed, and she showed me to the upstairs area of the house. At the end of the hall upstairs was an enormous room. To one side was a wide open space with canvases and finished art and a huge window. The other side looked like a bachelor's den made of video games, movies, a TV, and a sofa. On the sofa were 2 teenage boys. The redhead was tall and sprawled across the sofa, while a shorter blonde was leaning against it on the floor. I wondered why they were here, and D-May was downstairs, sleeping alone in the hammock. This is my work, Namine smiled, waving around the room. They were quite beautiful. It almost seemed ready to come alive. One was a butterfly on a leaf, another a woman in a park. One was a group of people. I recognized D-May and the 2 near the sofa. Namine was in it as well, so it must have been painting from a reference of a photograph. Bye, Phil. Thanks for saying hey. You're a wonderful artist, I whispered, in awe of her work. She blushed and smiled. Thank you. Turning around, I looked to the sofa. Your friends? She nodded. Do they not talk? Are they just... okay. Sounds came from the doorway, like a stampede almost. D-May opened the door wide, breathing hard. He glanced around as if he were looking for someone. Hey, Namine, have you seen... Oh! D-May calmed. Sam, your friends are looking for you. I nodded and looked to Namine. She looked to D-May. He was kind of standing there. We both looked at him. He shuffled his feet. Oh, he gasped, looking flustered. I need Leia's help on the car. Namine looked over to the redhead and back to D-May. We'll be right down. Not sure what just happened right there, but okay. Now we have another random quote. Heaven hath no rage like love to hatred turned, nor hell a fury like a woman scorned. Why? None of this makes any sense. The van was fixed. D-May had worked his hardest and done his best. All that was left to do was D-May handed over to Leia. He was so tired he couldn't handle any more work. Leia was up to the job once he was awake. Leia was your typical teenage punk with his sly smirk and baggy clothes. I enjoyed punks. They were amusing, to say the least. Don't know what that means. I only ever knew one in my life since I lived in Hicksville. His name was Jacob, and I met him in Atlanta. You know, just Atlanta. I just met a punk named Jacob in Atlanta. This is like stream of consciousness garbage. Leia walked outside and cracked his knuckles, ready to work. Crystal walked by, talking to Jamie, and Leia gave her the once-over. Hey there, he smirked, grinning like a rogue. Then he waved a little with that debonair look. Okay, wait, so he grinned like a rogue, and then he waved a little with that debonair look. So, like... I don't know what that means. Crystal gave him the finger. Shrugging, Leia got to work. I watched as Dime sat over in the corner and talked to Leia as he worked. Eventually, Leia noticed me and nodded. Who are you? He asked. Dime answered for me. That's Sam, he said, eager. Leia looked back to me. The name's Leia, he grinned, saluting. Got it memorized. In case you hadn't figured out who it is yet. Leia and Dime were hard workers, and though Dime was a pushover, Leia went easy on him. They were very much like brothers, so I wondered why Dime slept alone while the friends slept inside. I heard my name. Kadaj, Loz, and Yazoo were calling me. I ran over. Hey! Loz smiled. I nodded. Hey yourself. Grinning suggestively, I poked him with my elbow. So, you and Crystal, huh? I don't know where this is coming from. Loz blushed and looked away with a small smile, and Kadaj laughed. You thought it wasn't obvious? Yazoo smirked arrogantly. What? What? I rolled my eyes when Jamie jumped into the conversation. We were just commenting on Loz's crush on Crystal. Kadaj informed him. Aw, the cutie pie couple of the year. Oh, Jesus. The new Brad and Angelina. What a pair. Jamie could go on forever. I think he got all the talking genes. Oh, is the music too loud? There we go. Sorry about that. Unfortunately, I can't hear it on my end, which I think is a flaw in the system. You're embarrassing him, Jamie. I nudged my brother. He laughed sheepishly. So when are we leaving? Kadaj muttered, ending the old conversation. Loz mouthed a silent thank you to him. I don't know about you, Crystal leapt into the conversation, but I don't want to travel with a who knows how far with a very pissed off general. She wagged her arm. She wagged her arm in Sephiroth's direction. He was pouting in the corner. I was about to roll my sleeves and walk over there when Loz took hold of my arm. For the sake of all that is good. Go gentle on him, he pleaded with puppy dog eyes. Huffing ice, I let the matter rest. For now. We have another quote. Silence is argument carried out by other means. Oh, that's Che Guevara! He's here! Oh, what a thrilling thing for Che Guevara, Ernesto Che Guevara, revolutionary, to be quoted in this teenager's horny fanfic. What a treat for him. We ended up taking the invitation to stay overnight at Leia, Namine, and Dime's house. The fourth member of the household, who I learned was named Sora, had disappeared upstairs. We made ourselves at home. Jamie and Leia were jabbering away. Yazoo and Kadaj were looking at Namine's art. Loz and Dime were playing video games. Crystal walked by me towards the fridge. I feel like I know these people, she told me. You know how Sephiroth's a video game guy? I think these guys are too. I know Namine is. Does that mean that Aaron and them were too? Wow, makes me feel like such a noob as a gamer, you know? They are from video games, Jamie entered the conversation. Aaron, Brian, and Jack are Orin, Braska, and Jet from Final Fantasy X. Didn't you ever play that? The conversation became a geekathon between Jamie and Crystal. Oh, that came out in 2000, right? That was the summer that Dad shipped me out to Canada to live with Mom. I didn't touch a PS2 for forever. And I never thought of the game when I came back. I leapt onto Final Fantasy Online. Okay. That is just some sudden characterization out of nowhere. And these guys? I asked curiously. I know, Nominee, Crystal offered, tapping her chin. Jamie pondered. Earlier, Leia said this catchphrase I mentioned. Something about got it memorized? Oh my god, that's what it... How... Both their eyes lit up. Kingdom Hearts, they laughed. Makes sense, Crystal giggled. How did they not make... Oh my god. Wonder where Sora is. Hey, we all looked across the room. Across the way, Leia was standing at the back door waving at us. Jamie, could you come here a sec? Jamie looked back and smiled. With a wave, he left to talk to the redhead, and Crystal moved on, leaving me to wonder why in the world I never caught on to that anime stuff. Everyone in the living room was sitting in a circle, preparing to play Truth or Dare. I wanted to play, but first, I had business to attend to. As I walked down the halls towards the bedroom, I could feel Sephiroth's energy bouncing around. It was different from earlier. It wasn't as direct. It was just there. It was a bunch of feelings and energy, unfocused, kind of floating there. I would never have felt it if it had not been so strong. My hand hesitated on the doorknob. I had become stronger recently, but was I strong enough to face Sephiroth down? Then I remembered. He's my fiancé. Okay, that... Okay, but like, those two sentences together might be the best thing I've ever heard in my life. I had become stronger recently, but was I strong enough to face Sephiroth down? Then I remembered, he's my fiancé! So with a sigh, I knew I couldn't just walk away. I turned to the door and entered the bedroom. Oh, Jesus. Suddenly, hands were on my waist, and I was pressed hard against the door, a heavy weight leaning on my abdomen. I must have you. And that's the end of that chapter. That's where that one stops. And, you know, I think we could just stop reading the story forever by Elfin. We should take a example from Elfin and just not read any more of this. We should just stop. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Oh, Sephiroth he's just been churning with horny energy this whole story, apparently. Oh, and now he must have you. Okay. Alright, let's just power through this. We can do this. We can do this. Okay. I had never been so afraid in my life. I loved Sephiroth. I truly did. I was going to marry him. That's the truth. Wasn't it? Sephiroth's sudden behavior change and his leap at me had scared me. I'd never gone farther than kissing a man. I couldn't do this yet. What happened to the wedding night? What happened to our argument and being mad at each other? My hands twitched as all these thoughts swirled like a maelstrom in my mind. And Sephiroth's hands... Okay, I misread that almost. Sephiroth's hands traveled lightly up and down my hips. Sephiroth, wait. His lips were above my ear, and hearing my fearful, pleading voice, he ceased for a moment. Could he feel my fear? Was he ashamed? I was ashamed. Didn't I love him, and yet all I wanted was to run away? What kind of fiancé runs away from her future husband's advances? Jesus Christ. Oh no. I know it will be painful, but it must be done, Sephiroth told me. His grip on my hand becoming a reassuring one. What? I pleaded. The part of Sephiroth that was still a conniving, jealous supervillain was coming alive. I had never seen this side of him before. His eyes were especially green, and I didn't like it. Was this Genova? Was she trying to do this? Trying to drive me away? Sephiroth was leaning towards my neck, liking... It's supposed to say licking, and it says liking his lips tentatively. Don't worry, this isn't going where we think it's going. I remember now what I did here. Liking his lips tentatively. Time seemed to be slow, and my mind was almost breaking. I couldn't do this yet. Not yet, Sephiroth. His tongue danced across my skin, and I heard him murmur something. It was foreign and strange. He took hold of my hand, and then his teeth broke the surface of my skin. I'm not sure how long it took me to realize Sephiroth was talking about something totally different from intercourse, but an even darker fear spread in my blood, as if death was taking me cell by cell. I trembled, and my ability to see began to fade. My vision was jumpy, my muscles were throbbing, and I heard people running because they'd heard me scream. I could not understand. Cold spread through me, warmth spread through me. Not good warmth, but hellish. Made me cringe and want to leave my body, but I couldn't leave my body, no matter how hard I tried. Once the cold and the warmth melted together in my heart, making my body like thick metal. He let me go. I fell to my knees. Looking up, I saw his bright eyes dim, almost as if the presence was leaving him. I didn't know who made him do what it was he did, but I was pissed. What? Sam, what's happened? Oh no, Sam! I screamed. It wasn't my voice. Gasping, I reached for my throat. It felt different. The few wrinkles of age I had were gone. My voice! It was my voice, but stronger. Stumbling to my feet, I dodged Kadaj. That's fun, I dodged Kadaj. And whoever else was trying to get to me. I had the strength to toss Lowe's like a fly. I ran downstairs to the only mirror I'd seen in the house, the big one above the fireplace. Sliding to a halt, I looked up with terribly fear and fury into eyes that were not mine. They looked like snake eyes. He gave her Genova He gave her Genova cells, so now she's a Genova clone too. That's what that all was. She thought he was horny, and he was, to make her an alien. This is all so whack. Okay, teen self. Don't know what the crap you were thinking here, but okay. I was different. Everything about me was kind of the same, but different. It was as if I were a drawing. Someone had come in and used the old me as a basis, but changed everything. Made me stronger and fiercer, more like I don't know. This is poetic. My eyes were the same vivid green I had seen in Sephiroth's eyes. My muscles had grown. Not immensely, but enough to make me very strong. My face was narrower, my skin paler, my thin hands a little quicker with reflexes. I don't know how I knew that, this character knew that looking in the mirror, but apparently she looked in the mirror and knew that her reflexes were better. Everything was enhanced. My hair was as silver as the moon's reflection on water. I hated it. I realized that now I had never expected Sephiroth to make me one of them. I should have thought of it, but even then, I would have thought he would have explained it, given me the option instead of jumping into it. The old me was gone, and not even my own mother would recognize me. I hated it. Who was I in that terrible cold reflection? Those green eyes had engulfed whatever little light had been left in them. Stamped out by Sephiroth again. The man I had thought I was in love with. How could this happen? How could he do this to me? I looked away from the terrible green eyes to see the others on the staircase. Kadaj looked the least surprised. Perhaps he thought Sephiroth would do this. Why didn't he warn me? For once, I felt like hurting someone. My own brother. Lowe's was behind him, confused. Then he was always a little behind everyone else. Stupid. Yazoo looked cold, but his eyes were wide. Ugh, come to stare at the freak. Crystal was crying. Why was she crying? Wasn't like she was the freak in the room. And Naminé and all her friends were like herding cattle trying to come down the stairs. And there he was, his eyes devoid of all light, mouth agape, look forlorn, Sephiroth standing on the bottom step. What? Are you realizing you just lost me? Your last hope for happiness is gone? Why did I kid myself into thinking I needed an angel? Where were these awful thoughts coming from? I couldn't control the power, the flow in my veins. I heard voices in my head, and I knew it was her, whispering those terrible thoughts. Sephiroth had passed his curse to me. She was in my head. My hand was twitching. Was it trying to reach the ornamental sword on the wall? Would she have me slice away at them, trying to kill those I had begun to call family? No, she would have me kill him. I didn't want to, but my hand kept twitching. Then the terrible, echoing silence was broken. He was trying to mend the gap. Sephiroth had messed up and he was trying to grab hold of something and fix this, but he couldn't. If he, as my fiancé, had asked me to join him in immortality, I would have agreed. Oh, Jesus. I'm gonna skip that. We're not gonna read that sentence. Oh, Jesus. I could never be normal again. A tear fell down my cheek at the idea in my head. I wanted to kill him. I couldn't look at his sad eyes anymore. Use those eyes that looked so much like mine. Using my newfound power, I sprinted away through the glass window, out into the darkness, voices calling after me, tears falling down my face. What the actual fuck? What is happening? This story, like, it's very obviously a contrived reason to create drama between her and Sephiroth. And it's so over the top and so ridiculous and so horny and so stupid. Oh my god. This is your fault! You stupid 15-year-old idiot with your Converses and your headphones and your I'm a cool, I sit like this, I'm cool. I know what sex is. I don't know how far I ran. I only stopped running when my legs couldn't anymore. Half the time, my eyes were closed tight, stinging with tears. How had everything that seemed so wonderful gone so wrong? She was laughing at me, telling me I was a fool, a coward, not strong enough. She didn't have to tell me that. I knew. So I fell to my knees, blood staining my jeans. You guys all want to know what that sentence was? Okay. I equated him, which, okay, if you're not getting this, I'm implied that the Jenova took over his mind to make him do this, and now Jenova has taken over her mind to make her extra angry. Like, if she could think clearly, she'd probably realize Jenova did it, not Sephiroth. But she basically thinks in her head that the way that he forced immortality on her was like being forced to do something. Yeah. Not gonna say that. But clearly, as a teenager, this was me dealing with, you know, those kind of feelings, but in a metaphoric way. Because they definitely were horny at the start there. And then it just got dark because I was depressed. Hello, Damien. Welcome to Hell, which is a freaking story I wrote when I was in high school, or middle school, whatever age. I was like 15. Oh god, this is getting so emo. The sight of my blood scared me. The last time I had seen blood was the mugger. Maybe I should have let death take me. A picture of Sephiroth's face drifted through my mind. So beautiful and yet so fake. I had fallen in love with him and he pulled me to this fate. Did he love me? He had to, didn't he? But if he had never loved me, the idea was enough to force my dinner out of me. What a weird way to say vomit. So I sat there, crouched over the floor, sitting in blood and covered in sweat. dry heaving long after I'd emptied my stomach. Where could I go? I had no one. Crystal and Jamie were far away, and they were human. I wasn't anymore. Humans repulsed me now. No, I was repulsed by myself. So as to not remind myself I wasn't human, I stayed away from them. I couldn't go back. I regretted leaving them with Sephiroth, but Kadaj would take care of them, wouldn't he? She was laughing at me again as I tried to pick up the pieces. Where could I go? Was there no one else cursed with dreaded immortality? I tried to think of the movie. Who in the Final Fantasy movie was not human? Anyone? There was the cat, the red cat who could talk, and there was the doll, but I was pretty sure it was a machine. Then I remembered, back when my life was normal and boring, Crystal was just my agent. We had been looking over my book when she commented on him. The one in the red cloak, Cloud's friend in the movie, was immortal. Vincent. I had to find him. So that's where we stopped. So much has happened. So much. I don't even know, man. I don't know. There's so much happening here. I don't understand any of this. I don't understand where I was going with this. Why? This was all just a bored, horny, depressed teenager just key smashing on a keyboard and coming up with Final Fantasy fanfic. I'm horrified. This is so much worse than I remember. Remember when I started this and I was like, yeah, I remember liking this when I wrote it, and people liked it when I wrote it, and I thought it was cool. Oh my god. It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh my god, it's so bad. I need to go into, like, a mountain retreat to take time away from the world and recover psychically from the damage I've suffered today. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. This is so bad. Thank you all for suffering with me. I don't know why you've done that, but thank you. Thank you for watching. Next week, we'll probably be taking a break from the story because someone's commissioned me to write some Silent Hill fanfic, so I will probably be reading that next time. But we'll be back to this after. Tomorrow, we don't have any events. Sunday, I think I'm doing something, but I'll figure that out later. Later tonight, after I take a little break, eat some dinner, probably around 6-ish, I'll be playing some Persona, so if you want to join in, that'll be fun. If you like what I do for some reason and you want to support the channel, check the description for links to becoming a member or a patron. For as little as 99 cents a month, you get a lot of bonus content, extra essays, videos. I'm starting up a blog thing with some research, that kind of stuff. And it really does help me to run the channel and improve on what it is I'm doing. I don't know that I would call this an improvement, but hey. People like it for some reason. Follow me on social media to keep up to date with what I'm doing, and join the Discord to hang out with cool, fun people who watch TV and play video games sometimes. Am I still going to play Transformers Devastation? Yes. I have 3 commission games that I need to do. Cthulhu one more time, and then Soma, and then Devastation, which we're going to do next week. I'm just doing Persona today because I figured it's been a while and I'd just play it one off, do kind of a long one, try and get some of it knocked out of the way. So that's the plan. I'll be back in a little bit. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. And thanks to all of our members, Sagittarius, Jeff, Handsome Ratch, I think Pablo was here earlier, Phil was here for a little bit. Thank you all for supporting the channel. You're amazing, and I love you. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.